Chorus is a third-person space combat dogfighting and exploration game. It has great music and atmospheric sound, awe-inducing spacescapes, tight controls, satisfying combat, a progression system that rewards you for your efforts, and a deep story that doesn't waste too much of your time. It's available on PlayStation 5, PlayStation 4, Xbox Series, Xbox One, PC, and Stadia. I give it a solid 9 out of 10. If you want to know more, grab a drink and strap in. It's very rare that I play a game from start to finish without jumping into something else. I tend to hop from one game to another, play a little of something new, jump back to old favorite, maybe hop into another game just to finish off a few achievements or trophies, and if I'm not too distracted, I'll circle back around to that new game and continue on for a bit. Everyone has different play styles, and this is how I typically enjoy video games. But every once in a while, I play a game that I can't pull myself away from until I finish it. Recently for me, this was the case with Chorus. Now, to be fair, I haven't played many space combat games recently to compare this to. I played Star Voyager, but that might be a little too old. Star Fox is a great game, and there are elements of this in Chorus, but Chorus is more off the rails and free roaming. Descent is probably the most recent spacecraft combat game I've played, and there are some similarities there. This game has those narrow corridors too, but also big open expanses. So maybe I'm not the most experienced when it comes to space combat games, but I do know when I'm having fun, and this game ticks off a lot of boxes for me. First and foremost is just how great this game controls. The controls are tight and responsive. The more time I spend playing, the more I amaze myself with the types of maneuvers that I'm actually pulling off. You see, I'm not the greatest at video games. Yes, I spend a lot of time with them, but I'm not a very competitive player. In an RPG, I'm the person that will grind and make my character over-leveled and powerful, so I don't need to worry about having skill or strategy. But in this game, I feel almost godlike with my maneuvers. And I'm not talking about automated maneuvers where you just press a button and it makes you do a flip. I'm talking about fully manually boosting, shifting the craft into drift mode, turning to shoot behind you, then turning back forward to shift out of the drift, all while keeping the same forward trajectory. Or boosting forward, shifting to drift mode, turning to the side to shoot a couple of switches that open a door, and then shifting out of drift mode to make a sharp turn. It's so satisfying, and the game will slowly ease you into these more advanced maneuvers, so you don't ever really notice the difficulty ramping up. It's easy to control from the beginning, and then the game slowly introduces and unlocks new features as you play. One of these features being your character's superhuman powers, known as rights. But I'm getting ahead of myself here. Let's start from the beginning. As the story goes, you play as Nara on a quest to destroy the dark cult that created her. You see, under the cult's leadership, Nara was given the order to destroy an inhabited planet. She had never needed to question authority in the past, so in that moment, she was torn and ultimately decided to trust her leader. This decision was met with immediate regret as she felt the billions of people scream in agony as their planet was ripped apart. Not knowing what to do next, she fled and hid her ship. That ship, when bonded with her ability, forms the ultimate combat weapon. From here, the game begins with Nara in a new ship on the side of the Resistance, doing favors and generally helping them to fight back against the dark cult. And although she can never undo what she has done, she is now bringing at least some form of balance to the universe. Maybe in her mind, this is the way she copes with what she has done. All of the gameplay in Chorus takes place from your ship. You have your main story missions, which will reveal more about the dark cult, your past, and your mysterious capabilities. There are also plenty of side missions to help fill out the lore. The missions consist of combat, escort, delivery, exploration, or racing. Now, you may have heard the E word in there, and yes, normally escort missions are a pain, but in this game, I've never had a problem with them. I never had to worry about my target dying. I really only ever had to worry about protecting myself. One thing I really love is that the story and cutscenes in this game don't waste your time. The story is fascinating and it's told in short bursts to get you right back into the action. And this may be in the form of a quick cutscene, a recalled memory, or spoken dialogue over the ship's comm system. Traveling the Expanse is made rather quickly through a few different means. Aside from standard maneuvers, you have boosters, then you have a sublight drive system for even faster travel, and then special space freeways, for lack of a better term, that give ships an additional boost. And then finally, there are the jump gates and wormholes for traveling to other areas. Each of the areas in the game are unique and look completely different. It really adds a lot of visual interest to the game. As you progress the story, you'll unlock more of Nara's abilities, or rights as they're called in this game. The first right you unlock being the Right of Senses, which allows you to sense objects and other things normally undetectable by conventional sensors. So you might find hidden stashes of credits, echo memories of past events, or sense the flow of energy, which might help solve mysteries and puzzles. The second right that you unlock is called the Drift Trance, and this is what allows you to shift the spacecraft into drift mode. This allows you to turn your ship while keeping your same forward momentum and trajectory, and ultimately what makes maneuvering in this game so incredibly satisfying. I highly recommend advancing the story until you get this before doing too many of the side missions, as I think this is the most useful ability in the entire game, making combat and navigation so much easier. Now, there are several other rights to unlock as you go, which will help you more with combat and gaining access to areas that were otherwise out of reach. I'll let you discover those on your own, but I want to move on to Mastery, which is another mechanic that I really like in this game. So the more you use your rights and various weapons, the more you'll level up those abilities, which increases your proficiency with them. Here are a bunch of different abilities you can try to level up just by performing certain actions in the game. This kind of thing is a lot of fun for me. And then on your ship, you have all sorts of parts and upgrades to perform. Some of these weapons and parts you'll find from doing missions, others you can buy at an outpost. So there are a lot of gamey mechanics going for it that I really like. Now, aside from the main story and side missions, there are also random encounters to keep the momentum going in the game. These could be something like a sudden enemy attack, a destroyed ship to salvage parts and credits, or a distress signal from someone in need of assistance. As far as audio goes, most of the game is playing ambient sounds of space, like your thrusters, the hum of a nearby energy source, and light debris hitting your ship. But occasionally, some awe-inspiring soundtracks will well up in the background, especially during major events like story or combat. My only complaint with the game, I guess, is that I always seem to get the best items from quests and side missions, so I didn't have much need for purchasing upgrades from the outpost after I was only a few hours in. I ultimately ended up with a pretty big stack of credits by the end of the game. Gameplay is around 10 to 20 hours, depending if you go straight for the story missions or if you like to do side missions and trophy achievement hunting. And really, around 15 hours feels just about perfect for this game. It never wears out its welcome and managed to keep me engaged with the story all the way through. Again, Chorus is available on the PlayStation 5, PlayStation 4, Xbox Series, Xbox One, PC, and Stadia. MSRP is $40 US. This game caught me completely off guard. I loved it so much I had to do a review. Anyway guys, that's gonna do it for today. Thanks for watching. Until next time, I will see you later.